Hello and welcome to my first video of 2024. I hope that you've had a good New Year's Eve. Whatever you got up to, whatever you were doing, hello. I hope that you're well. All of that good stuff. I wasn't sure about what I was going to do for my first video for this year, but I am going to be taking this channel in kind of a bit of a different direction. Although I do cover a lot of stuff already here, as you can probably see in all of the upload history. To those of you asking, I will be doing more on-camera videos this year as well, so you will get to see more of me. I'm not hiding. I'm just super busy. So first of all, this is the second upload I've done for this video, which is really interesting. My video was uploaded and it was actually cut about halfway through. I noticed I uploaded it yesterday and then I was flagged. I got an error message coming through, but it was actually later deleted by the YouTube police, which is pretty interesting to me, because I didn't really say anything that I thought was like nothing that I'd already said before in my video when I did a podcast a few weeks back, a month or so ago, about woke culture, the zero-sum game. So it's interesting to me that this video got flagged, and I am considering doing a Patreon at some stage because, yes, I do have a lot of information and knowledge, but if you're out there and you're a mystic, we've got to be very, very careful with what we say. We are living in a censorship society, so you can't speak your mind freely. And the platforms that we're on now are governed by a narrative. So yeah, it was a bit of an interesting start to 2024. And that's not to say just because that video got removed that I'm not going to continue doing uploads. Just because someone else is trying to silence me, I'm not going to stop. Okay, you just got to keep on going. Just because someone else is trying to, hurt you, kill you, destroy you, welcome to planet Earth. I actually tell some of my friends, and I had a mentor that actually told me years ago, and she's quite high up in a lot of the arenas that she is in, and she said, if you don't have haters and if you don't have people that are insanely envious and jealous of you, that you're actually not working hard enough and you're not doing it right. And I think there's some truth in that as well. So I have decided to re-upload this podcast, and I'm going to be keeping it quite tight. So I'm going to take out a lot of the chat that I had in the last one and just focus on the dot points that I wanted to share with you, and keep it more kind of like tip related, if that makes sense. So I hope that if you did get a chance to listen to the other one, I do apologize. So let's just start with this one today. For those of you, I'm going to share some of my knowledge about health, body, spirituality. You are going to get it from an occult point of view. You are going to get it from a modern man in today's world. And I'm very candid. I don't really give a fuck. I swear I'm real. I'm raw. I like it real and I like it raw. So I'm not, if you have, oh, by the way, if you have a topic that you want me to talk about and you're scared, or if you've got anything that you'd like to suggest as for me to explain, I had someone talking about my knowledge of Steiner. I will be doing a video on him later in the year. I will be continuing my series looking at gay culture. I also did a video podcast back a month or so ago talking about some of the pitfalls of that, and also talked about Luciferic consciousness. As you know, I talk about a lot of hardcore stuff, and as I always say, it can't hurt you if it's not true. It can't offend you if it's not true. All right? So here we are in 2024. The year has rolled on over. It's quite interesting. We've come into another year. Some would actually argue that that's actually not correct, that the real start of the year is supposed to be around April for those in the northern hemisphere, which falls in spring. And I will be doing some investigation into that, talking about the equinox and how dates get changed around. But that's probably another video for another topic. So I wanted to talk about health. And I wanted to make this a really strong point that is kind of kickstarting this year off with a bit of a bang. And it's coming in really strong. And it's giving you some real tips that are going to actually help you. First things first, living in a world now where everything's so consumer based, everything's so click here for this update, and everyone has tips and tricks, and everyone's projecting a level of something that really isn't, not everyone, but most people online, on Instagram, a lot of what the projection that you see really isn't A, real, and B, realistic. So when it comes to projection, if you don't know, we are living in a world now, if you've been living under a rock, where your value is your projection. Fundamentally, that's the new world that we're in now since social media and the internet has taken off. That's where we're at. And so unrealistic expectations to do with how we look, the lifestyles we're supposed to have, it's all just illusion, okay? A lot of it is illusion. It's not real. And people can create these worlds that are just not real and project them onto a social media platform. And then people think that's real. And, it is what it is. I did talk about Hollywood at one stage. Hollywood is a template for Mount Olympus. So Mount Olympus is where the gods live. That's like Hollywood Hills kind of thing. And then the humans underneath the gods idolize the celebrity culture so that they can want to be like a celebrity, like people paying money, like getting surgeries. It's $1 trillion industry now every year. People paying money to physically alter how they look to look like someone else, to have the Kim Kardashian ass or to have those big slug lips or whatever, So it's alarming and it's terrifying. And so, yeah, it goes without saying. Our projection is what people see of us. And so it's kind of hardwired into us. When we look at someone, we rate them. We don't like to call it that, say it exactly like that, but that's really fundamentally, it's what it is. So we have 30 seconds to look at someone and decipher whether we find them attractive, whether they're a threat or whether they're a friend. It's hardwired into our biology, okay? So you're coming up against biology here, all right? So it is what it is, and it's not even up for debate. And I will be doing a video this year talking about sexual marketplace value and explaining how that works, because I would rather you just understand that now, because as soon as you do, you can start to understand how it's all kind of like a game. And I know I hate that word. I hate saying that, but that's kind of where it's at now. So many years ago, I used to watch a show, and it was a documentary that I want to mention here. You could probably find it here on YouTube, which was a British woman that did a series called The Truth About Size Zero. And it was a woman that did an experiment where she went through a series of really intense dieting, exercising, and really tried to ascertain a lifestyle of being really, really skinny. And at the time she was filming her moods and, kind of diarizing the toll that took on her body, on her mental health, on her marriage, everything. And it was really, really fucked up. I think Mel C, if you know Mel C, Melanie Chisholm, she was a guest star on that show because she had a eating disorder when she was in the Spice Girls and had struggled with obviously anorexia or whatever. But I think these days most people it would be quite normal for most people to have some level of body dysmorphia or have anorexia or have some level of self-hatred towards ourselves. First key point I want to make here is that we are taught to dislike ourselves. We are taught that at school. We're taught that in society. And the reason that we're taught that is because if we feel that we're incomplete, then we are going to want to consume things outside of ourselves to fulfill us. That's what makes us a consumer. As you know, I know a lot of wealthy people in my life, insanely wealthy people. A lot of them, I've got rid of them. I've moved away from them because some of them, and why? Because most of them are insanely miserable people. Okay. It's just is what it is. You'll find the most happiest people in life will be probably living in some little rural village in Africa, in a tribe. That's probably where the happiest people will be. They'll be on an island. I've been to some islands around Hawaii and around Namibia over the years, and also noticed a lot of the people there. They are genuinely happy people. They're not looking, the focus of their life is service, family, praying to a higher power than themselves, taking care of their communities and each other. You will not find that in Western society. Western society is the polar opposite of that. And that leads me to get to the point of what I'm trying to say is that it's all about the visual expression. And so this is interesting because when it comes to health, someone looking a certain way does not mean that they're healthy. Someone like having a certain look in a photograph or in translating on film doesn't mean that they're not in some level of nutrient deprivation or going through something that's really fucking themselves up. Yeah? It's not sustainable. If you take your body mentally or physically past its homeostasis and keep it in a level that is prolonged past its homeostasis, you're going to see massive problems. Okay, when I was in my early 20s, just quickly, I also was in the entertainment industry. I had an agent. I went to go-sees, as we call them. I also did modeling. I did some serious campaigns back in the day for very big names. And I got to see firsthand just how unbelievably damaging and fucked up the entertainment industry is, especially when it comes to modeling. But that's another video for another day. But I will get there at some stage. So yeah, I was like that young guy. I was into being really, really skinny. And if I didn't command a certain level of attention, or if I didn't have a certain presence, if I wasn't famous, then I didn't feel fulfilled. Like that's how fucked up my psychology was back then, because I was trying to fill the hole that was in me. And of course, this leads you to some really, really dark fucking places. And so, yeah, it just goes without saying, if you're living in a lifestyle that's out of balance, you will be suffering. Yeah, you will be. And you'll suffer later down the track. So that on the table, straight up. These days, I'm a lot more comfortable with myself. I'm reaching 38. And as you get older, I've turned 38. I'm reaching my 40s now. So as you start to get older, I don't have the energy levels that I had when I was back in my late teens and my 20s. Okay, I'm still in my 30s. I'm coming into a different phase of my life. Okay, my muscles are thickening, things are changing, my hairline's receding, I'm getting lines all over on my face. This is, by the way, the natural aging process. And it's actually a beautiful process that I'm comfortable being in now. Because back in the day, I'd freak out if I, if I woke up with puffy eyes or, gained weight. I used to hate it. I used to punish myself, and it's just this mindset is just soul destroying. And it's nonsense. It really is. And we waste so much time being so concerned with this that it really, it doesn't do us any favors. So upkeep is really important. And for me to be functioning at an optimal level in my body and in my mind, in my soul, there is a certain level of effort that is required to do that. Obviously goes without saying. So on the subject of coming into 2024, health is everything. Without your health, what are you going to do? I mean, you could have all the money in the world. I mean, yeah, you might be able to get heart surgery. In countries like America, there isn't really any healthcare on that level like it is in Australia. If you need an operation and you don't have the money, you die. So in some cases, it's really important that you do put in the effort and the upkeep. And it's true, at the end of the day, you might have lots of money, but if you can't see out of your eyes, if you've got poor eyesight, if you don't have the strength and endurance to stand up and walk, then you're in trouble. Also as well, if you're getting to like 3 o'clock and you're slow and you don't have any energy and you're feeling lethargic, need that coffee hit, you need the sugar hit. I get it. But I know that that's not the way to go through life. And so what it really comes down to is coming into 2024 as we just have, I don't really believe in New Year's resolutions. I find that completely ridiculous. All we have is the now, right now. And I know that's cliche, but a lot of people that have moved in, the year's clicked over, and then they think this is going to be their year. Like 2023 was shit. This is going to be a fantastic year for me. And hey, I understand. You've got the enthusiasm. It sounds nice. But without backing up those words and you actually initiating a change, nothing is going to happen. You are just going to have a repeat of the last year. And it's not enough to blame our shortcomings on the year. We are in the driver's seat. All right? You're just going to have another shit year if you don't shift something in your head. So you've got to understand you are a powerful creator. You're a creator being. Not just creation of things that you can make, but like literally creating the world and the life that you want for yourself. So you've got to understand that that's a pretty powerful thing. And the gift of life that we have, you either use it and use it well and honor that, or you destroy it and you abuse it with unhealthy living. For me, I don't want people around me that are negative, lazy, stupid, full of excuses, and people that can't receive me. All right, that's key. That's the first health tip I want to bring in now. Get away from people that can't understand you and cannot receive you. And don't share your dreams with people that don't support them. I have a few things bubbling away. Like, I'm a mystic. A lot of us are quite removed from the world, if you know what I mean. We've got to be that way. But I don't share a lot of what I'm doing. I'm just doing it. Yeah, so there's a difference. And at the end of the day, when you take off your clothes and you look in the mirror, same with being a mystic or being a witch, whatever it is that you claim to be, you know in your heart your skill set. And you know in your heart if you're doing the work or you're not. Because the work speaks for itself. It just does. It really is. Taking responsibility for your own health is key to living a long life. We can't just rest on our genetic codes. You know, in our 20s, some of us have got great genes. Yeah, they just sailed along, drinking, smoking, partying, vaping. Are you fucking kidding me? Vaping? Are you doing drugs? Yep, it catches up with you. It all catches up with you. All right? And don't think it doesn't. It does. So as a powerful creator and taking ownership for our health, we've got to get out of victim mindset. A lot of people are living in victim mindset. So when it comes to health in terms of victim mindset, I take ownership for everything that goes right and everything that goes wrong in my life. It's my fault. It is my fault. It's nobody else's fault but my own. If I gain weight, that's my fault. If I lose weight, that's my fault. Too often people want to take credit for things that are positive and they want to hear something positive. But when it's doesn't sound positive, or by the way, positive or negative, I hate that word because it basically just means whatever's in the person's favor. My positive could be your negative. Your negative to you could be my positive. Do you get what I'm saying? But yeah, you have to own what belongs to you. So you've got to understand that in a modern day world that we're living in, they want you to be weak. They want you to be fat. They want you to be stupid, particularly in the Western world. Most people are very lazy. Most people don't have enthusiasm or passion or energy. Okay? 1 in 6 kids now in America is obese. That's terrifying. Could you imagine the damage that that's doing to their internal organs? That's terrible. All right, so we've got to own what belongs to us. So I'm responsible for everything that goes into my body. And that has a cause and an effect. I'm responsible for what I do or what I don't do. I remember I talking about a woman once. I might have given this analogy before as an example, but if you go home and turn off all your lights, turn off the TV, turn off electricity, everything, no PowerPoints, nothing's going to happen for you. Outside, like if you just shut down and don't do anything outside of the house, nothing will happen in your house. I hope that makes sense. Yeah. So you're part of the getting of the life that you want. You are. So when it comes to weight and health, the body and the mind and the soul are all connected. This is basic spirituality 101. A really good book is called The Body Keeps Score. Okay, The Body Keeps Count. If you know that book, it's quite a popular book. All the trauma, all of the suffering, all of the pain, all of the joy, it is stored in different parts of the body. And so this is all connected. So the first thing I would say is you need, extra tips, you need to go to a therapist, or you need to, at the very least, talk to a friend or talk to someone on the daily, on the weekly. You need to check in with people because we might think that we don't have stuff stored, but we do. We get all this stuff stored up inside of our body, in our mind, in our heart. And this is key to really lifting and making changes in our life. So when we can get to the bottom of that and get it out and get it off our chest and untangle that and unpack that, that will shift us in the mind. Because when someone is overweight or someone is unhealthy, I don't look at it from a physical point of view like most do. We have to go back to the psychology and back to the belief system that person has, because I'd rather you get this if you don't already know it, but everything we do is psychological. So what are the patterns and what's the patterns of behavior in that person's head that create the cause or effect. So there's action and then there's inaction. Not all things require both or one or the other, but yeah, we all are all in either action or inaction. So what is the cause and effect? What is the action or the inaction that's causing the result that you're seeing in the person? I hope that makes sense. So when we look at the psychology and the patterns of a person's behavior, it's all in the heart and the mind. That's why I would say, even me, like we all have to talk. We all have to get it out because it sits in the vessel. Now, that's a really good point there as well. Doesn't matter who you are, we're all one and we all have to do the inner work. If someone doesn't have any inner work going on, there will be atrophication of the body or tumors, dysfunction, things developing within the body, dysfunction in the body from dysfunction in the soul. Okay, first things first. Also, that being said, the body is the temple of the soul. All right. Now, I didn't really get into that, understanding that truly, not just understanding it, but understanding it deeply. The body is the temple to the soul. When we destroy the temple, we are dishonoring our soul. We're destroying ourselves willingly. And everything around us, if you haven't already noticed, is already trying to destroy you. So why would you want to make it harder on yourself? Everything around us is contaminated and toxic and poisonous. The air around us, the water that we drink out, it's pumped full of fluoride. It's pumped full of chemicals. The food that we eat is full of preservatives, genetically modified things, hyper-inflammatory oils, MSG. There's so much stuff that's already working against you, not to mention holding a phone on you every day. The human body was never designed to hold a mobile phone on themselves 24 fucking hours a day. It's releasing emissions and EMF, radiation. It's dangerous. Household appliances like the microwave. Terrible. Fucking terrible. All right. So I understand addiction and I totally get it, why people get addicted. But the point of the main thing about addiction is you're using it as a crutch. If you need it every day, it's owning you. And I don't take people seriously that don't take their life seriously. I don't take a lot of people seriously. To be really honest, there's probably one or two people in my whole life that I truly, truly believe that they're doing the work on themselves and actively within their own sphere. Because when we do things like, excessive drinking, smoking or vaping or taking drugs, we're completely shitting on our temple. And to be a spiritualist, to be a mystic, and for me to operate on my level, just speaking from my own truth, I need to be as clear as possible. I need to be as clean as possible to function at the optimal level that I require to get what I want. It's like a window. Think of it like a window. Same with opening up your crown chakra and trying to connect to the divine, any type of psychic work, anything like with intuition. It's like if your window is filthy, how the hell are you going to see through the window? You can't. So it's honoring yourself first. And hey, I'm wording this nicely, all right? And you know where you are. When you, like I said before, I don't need to tell someone that they've gained weight. They know that. But the real question is, what are they going to do about it? Back in 2020, I got up to 110 kg. I was in a lockdown, mind you, by the way, for 2.5 years under a level of lockdown here in Melbourne. And that's hard when you can't leave your house. You know, I had to get a treadmill. I had to improvise. I had to make it my garage, my little home studio. And I've still kept it to this day. But it took me a hot minute to really own what belongs to me and know what I'm putting in my body. I have to take ownership for. All right. I'm not a Nazi. I do like a beer every now and then, but not often. It just goes without saying. All right. So I'm trying to word this in a really nice way. So your diet is your dedication to yourself in a lot of ways. Okay. If you're relying on something, it's a crutch. We have to get off the crutch. The same thing with the tarot as well. A lot of people use tarot cards every day. Like at some point, you're going to have to come off the training wheels. Like I've completely outgrown tools now. I can just connect with things because I've developed resistance and strength by getting off those crutches. So I hope that makes sense because we are in uncharted territory right now in the world, just in terms of health. Like I mentioned, everything is poisonous to us. So go through the withdrawals, face, the come downs, the moodiness, the transitions, but just get yourself clean because you will look back. You will look back at this later and be like, what the hell was I thinking? All right. So get off the drugs, get off whatever it is that you don't need. You don't need a vape. You don't need cigarettes. All right. Get serious about your health. If you want to be taken seriously, you have to get serious about yourself. Same with people. I have a very high level of what I put up with in a person. And if they don't meet that criteria, they don't even get a shot. They don't even get a chance with me. I don't engage with things that are on that level because it's so low level. Yeah. Where you're trying to bring me, I just won't go there. Okay. I'm wording this as nicely as I can. Okay. Next tip, cardiovascular endurance. You need to be working out on the daily. Even just light walking is better than nothing, okay? When you understand, and I had a history in health. I also was a swimmer. I was a national athlete for a long time. I also am a qualified myotherapist. I got into the health industry, so I understand endurance training. I understand problems within the body, within the organs, liver problems, organ problems, understanding pressure on the joints, all of the rest of it. So biochemistry is really important to understand. All right. So you don't need a gym membership, but you have to have a willingness to move your body. Swimming is a really, really good way to do that. It is really good for the respiratory problem. It will calm down your nervous system. Also, obviously it's light weight bearing. You're not running. It's not, really putting a lot of pressure on the knees and on the joints anyway. So I would suggest swimming is a really, really good one. Saved my ass many times around. Bike riding obviously goes without saying. If you can get on a bike, the quad group is the biggest muscle group in the body. Once you start working that, you will see results. Heart rate elevation is key, all right? Obviously, it goes without saying. The plaque that builds up on our teeth that we have to go get scraped and cleaned professionally in those deep places that are hard to reach, you've got to see it that that's the same type of plaque that's building up inside you, in your arteries, in your heart. So we've got to live a healthy lifestyle and take that ownership to maintain the upkeep of the vessel. All right. So that's really, really, when people say, I don't have the time, your number one priority should always be your health. Because even if you're listening now and you don't get anything that I've said so far, say if you've got kids and they depend on you, they need you. They need you to be around. If you can't do it for yourself, do it for them. All right. I know that it gets to that point. If you're really serious about making a change, you will do it. And back in the day, I used to try and inspire people and, you know, talk about health all the time. These days, when someone tells me they want to lose some weight, I just say, congratulations, that's fantastic, good for you. Do you have the right shoes? Make sure you've got a pair of good shoes. And I just leave it at that, because it's not my job to push anyone into doing something that they're not ready to do, because that backfires big time. Or try and, you know, facilitate their journey. That's their journey. If you ask me for health tips, I'll give it to you. But if not, I just let you, whoever set person, they just get on with it and they do it, you know, they do it on their own. If they're serious about it, they'll do it on their own. They'll stop eating junk food. You know, the line around KFC, it just, it just blows my mind. Like, holy shit. These little chickens in cages that just get pumped full of hormones to make them get as big as possible. Their little legs break under the weight of the hormones that are pumping into their body. Then they get chopped up and eaten. Look, and then we eat the hormone. It's just crazy. But that's what the government wants. It wants to keep you docile. It wants to keep you fat and stupid. It's what it is. It's a money-making machine. And it's feeding off us being like this as well. So when I hear people say, I don't have the time, that it is very elementary level excuse. That's, to me, that's like the teacher. It's like the teacher telling the teacher that my dog ate my homework. Just shut up. Like, come on. Yeah, so sweating is really good. Another great tip is sweating. If you can get into a steam room, I found that to be very, very helpful. Really makes a huge difference with the unblocking of the clogs of the pores of the skin, heart rate elevation, really helps calm the nervous system. Very, very, very helpful. Okay, what else? All right, so yogurt. You need yogurt. You must have, or at least some level of Yakult or some level of probiotic is very, very important. Your stomach is your second brain. So whatever's happening in your stomach is affecting your whole body. Your nervous system, everything is all connected to the stomach. So probiotics are mandatory. I started doing yogurt back in 2021, and I can tell you the change it's made to my body, my skin, my hair, my nails, my eyes, you know, just huge shifts. So must have probiotics. Get on the probiotic train if you can. Really, really important. Also, if you're a man, you need a certain level of protein in your body. You must have protein. Also, if you want to get bigger, you have to feed the body for the body to get bigger. A lot of people, a lot of men go to the gym, they lift weights, they want to get bigger, but they're not feeding the muscle to make the muscle grow. Another one, big key there. So you must feed the body to make it grow. You can't pull something from thin air, all right? So I hope that made sense. Also, when it comes to weight loss, it all comes down to input versus output. So it's just simple biochemistry, and that's really what it is. If you want to create weight loss, you have to create a calorie deficit to do that. So that's standard 101 there. Weight-bearing exercises, really, really important, particularly for men. We have to show the body how to grow. We need resistance to build strength on those joints, to keep the bones and the muscles strong. So weightlifting is very important, or lifting heavy things is key to building strength, okay? And when you start to create a routine, I would suggest just health in general. Humans are tribal and group orientated anyway. So if you could get with a friend or get a trainer or get with someone that you meet at the gym, that will always be better than going at it alone. Sometimes when we get to the gym and you're on your own, by the way, you don't need a gym, but if you do go to the gym, always better that you go with someone. That way you're accountable to show up on time for them, and that way you do it together. They can spot you while you spot them. It keeps that camaraderie. It keeps the connection going. We need connection. The main reason why most things break down is lack of connection. Anyway, so that's a great tip as well. So getting into a group class, cardiovascular every day. So you've got to get the heart rate up. That is key. Goes without saying. Mention the calorie deficit. Yep. What else? I'm going to keep this video a bit tight. I'm gonna keep going. Yeah, so it's all in your head. How you feel about yourself is connected to how you look. How you look is how you feel, all connected. And just know that wherever you are on your health journey, it is small increments of effort over long periods of time create the change. A lot of people will have sudden success and then they'll revert back to default setting. What we have to do, meaning they just gain the weight, regain it. What we have to do is go back and keep it on a low level burn over long periods of time. So you're making the time as much as you can with whatever it is that you have. Even if it's on your lunch break, go for a walk, key. A big one as well is getting sunlight. We need sunlight. Most people, I live in Melbourne. It's usually quite overcast. We have very long, drawn-out winters. So we need to get UV light, sunlight on us. We need that vitamin D. It's very important. Goes without saying, people always say, hey, get some sun. Go for a walk in the sun. Did you get some sun today? We need it. It's crucial. It will calm your nervous system. It will just really bring you down to keeping you grounded. All right. Another one, grounding. If you live in a commercial or a metropolitan area, you need to ground. If you're in an apartment block, must ground daily. If not, go to the beach, go to the park, take your shoes off, put your feet on the ground. It reduces inflammation and it reduces stress. It is so imperative to do that. That's the natural state of a human. For me, coming into the future in the next few years, I will be leaving all metropolitan areas, also getting prepared for what's coming up in the next couple of years, if you know what I mean. For those of you who know, you know. City living will not be a viable thing. It will be completely off the menu. So that's really important. Grounding is really important. Probiotics, I mentioned that. Removing yourself from toxic people, EMF emissions. Yeah, so in the next few years, I'd also like to not have a microwave in my house. That's really also a big no-no. When you put food in a microwave, it really just bouncing around particles at high, speeds to kind of rub against the food and agitate the molecules to heat up the food, like creating friction. Big no-no. It's, obviously very, very bad. It's a carcinogenic. It's not good for us to have microwaves. Microwaves should definitely be out of the house as well. Not good for us at all. It also destroys the nutrients in the food anyway. So why would I want to be around something that emits, what it does? Getting out of the house is key. Changing your mindset. For me, I get a lot of inspiration when I go out, taking photos of things, just getting out of my own way. That's the really big one for your health. Get out of your own way. All right. So rather than thinking about stuff, sometimes it's best just to just jump in and just start, Sometimes I have ideas and it's a scribble and I get it. We're busy. You're at the park or you're at the shops or whatever, but just get out of your own way. Try and do things that can shift your state of mind. Music is really good for you as well, Also as well, anger. Anger is a really big one for our health. When we get into a bout of anger, it's now said that it can take up to 7 hours for the cortisol levels in our body to go back to their natural resting state. So that's really important that we don't choose to get involved with things that trigger us really badly. Sometimes we don't have the time and space for certain things or we come back to it later. Okay, so staying poised, staying calm, standing in our power, standing in our truth. You know, do the whole rooting thing, like the roots come out of your feet into the ground. The wind's blowing you, but you're not getting knocked over because you're secure in who you are. All right? That's really, really key. So I don't let things, insignificant things that are inconsequential to me, someone's coming in at me hard, I don't let it into my heart. I've become very good at having very thick skin. Obviously, I'm on the internet anyway, so obviously you get that. Also, supplements, I'm going to mention as well, big no-no. You don't or should not need supplements unless you are genuinely deficient in that thing that you're lacking. All right. If you've got a balanced diet and lots of leafy greens and you're doing the work, you shouldn't need extra supplements. That's another thing that it comes back to the pharmaceutical industry owning your ass, telling you that you need to have this pill or this, that, or what the other. You shouldn't need supplements if you're already legitimately not in a deficit of that, deficient of that thing. That's another thing that is just ridiculous. Now, I'm not a doctor. I'm not for legal reasons, I have to say that, but obviously it's common sense. It goes without saying. All right, I'm going to share my thoughts on milk. Milk is also a big no-no. Fuck all calcium in milk as well. By the time the human body processes the milk, we get barely less than 4% of calcium out of milk. So milk, you can take that straight off the table. A lot of problems come from dairy because the human body was never designed to drink another animal's milk. Yet again, common sense. A really good one that I like to share as well is oranges are nice. I like an orange. I like an orange juice every now and then. But mostly oranges are not the best for you. You're going to have a sugar spike or an insulin spike. If you're a type 1 or a type 2 diabetic, then you'll know that orange juice is a big no-no. Also, it is full of acidic properties and there's fuck all vitamin C in. 2 punnets of, 2 punnets of strawberries are equal to 5 bags of oranges in terms of vitamin C. So vitamin C is not always going to be just, in the oranges all the time. The superfoods that humans really need are obviously living a very clean diet, nothing that's been processed. So, obviously you need the sourdough bread, get on the sourdough train, blueberries, the berry family, raspberries, strawberries, anything berry is very good for us. It's rich in the antioxidants. Obviously drinking lots of water, that's good. That's always going to be good for you. Usually most of us are dehydrated anyway. Practicing gratitude, sitting in silence, keeping your mouth shut, learning to be still. Okay, it's key. Also, I don't go out a lot and eat at a lot of restaurants either. A lot of them also don't care about your health. They'll be cooking with vegetable oils or really inflammatory oils like canola oil. Huge no-no. We must go for more natural types of oils like olive oils and things like that. I've even been known to, in the past, I've been known to order a lot of different types of oils from all around the world that are natural, like from Italy and stuff like that. So it's hard. I know it's hard these days. The cost of living is hard. It's harder. It's more expensive to live a healthy life than it is to live a McDonald's life. But it goes without saying, if you can get smart and you're really dedicated to boosting your immune system, and you want sharper thinking, you want to be powerful, then you're not going to be reaching for the pack of cigarettes. Okay, you're not going to have pizza every fucking night and drink Coke every day. All right, you just know. You know when you know, and if you don't know, then you're in trouble. So detoxing is really important. Every couple of weeks, once a month, I do a pretty intense detox. So I do practice intermediate fasting. A lot of the problems that we have in our body is because we haven't given our body time to process what it needs to process. We're still putting in food all the time. This eating 5-6 meals a day shit, crazy, insane. Too much pressure on the body, too much pressure on the teeth. All right, not good for us. So it's smaller snacks are more the way to go. And then giving yourself 1 day a week where it's just really not a lot of food. And doing the intermediate fasting has really changed my mental health as well. Another big, I know I'm putting in a lot of tips here. I'm trying to, I hope you're taking notes. Another one is cold baths. I do practice cold baths. They work. I can confirm it. Definitely makes a shift. I get the ice cubes in there if I can too. It really helps to immerse myself in that cold water. I come out of feeling revitalized. It resets the biochemistry in my brain. And a hot tip I will give you if you are a mystic or a witch and you're doing the real work, fasting and cold baths are absolutely so essential to being able to put your antenna, your spiritual antenna, up to the spiritual world as well. Okay, so just a hot tip there, because one of the things when I was doing readings as well full time is I don't do readings on full stomachs for obvious reasons, because all of my energy in the blood is all going to my stomach. I don't want to be down grounded when I'm doing a reading. I need to be in a place that can connect up higher in the astral. So hot tip. Also, that's why you'll find a lot of spell work or spiritual work or prayer work involves a level of fasting. Fasting is key to leveling up, you know? And it also shows discipline and sacrifice, because discipline and sacrifice create freedom. Also, as well, on the subject, any pleasure seeking that is immediate will also be short-lived. All right, so it's long. We're here for a long marathon in that regard. Although life goes really quick, anything that's too instant, it's going to be shit. All right. So also as well, if you're around people, hot tip, and they won't share anything, they've got poor communication skills, they can't talk about how they feel. It's very difficult to connect with someone that won't connect with themselves. So yet again, for your own health, I'd have to say you just have to fuck them off or move away from them, or, you know, it's not up to you to get them to where you need them to be. You just have to keep going on your journey. Same with my journey. I outgrow lots of friends. I outgrow most people in my life really quick. And it gets to a point where when I get bored with them, when they're not growing, when they're just kind of staying still, you know, I love them, but I know that if I surround myself with someone that isn't leveling up, that's also going to be a hindrance to my leveling up. And so with love, I also remove my time and energy away from them and let them do whatever it is that they're doing. You know, if they're not doing it, well, then they're just going to get the yield that they deserve. And that's kind of what it is. So I hope I've mentioned a lot of stuff here. I really hope that this video has helped. It has been a long one, but this is my first video talking about health, and, you know, taking ownership for your health. Obviously, it's in your hands. Something needs to change in your head, because it all comes from our behavior and our psychology. And, you know, New Year's resolutions, you know, if you're not implementing those changes, then nothing's going to happen. This is the real world, and we're not here for a dress rehearsal. So it's better that you just get on board with getting in alignment with yourself, and then just, you know, taking ownership for your life, your health, and how you impact other people, and yada, yada, yada. All right. So that was a lot, but I hope it's helped. Leave some comments below if you feel so inclined. I'd love to hear your health tips. Share anything you want with me. I'm very much an open book, and I'd love to see some comments. And I do apologize, the previous recording got deleted. Hopefully this recording will stay up as well. Come and find me over on Instagram. It's @LGoliath_artist now. My handle has changed. And for everyone out there that's following me and enjoys listening to my podcasts, it means a lot to me. Please consider sharing my channel with other people that you think would benefit from these videos. And I will see you in the next podcast. Lots and lots of love. All right, be strong and be true. Bye. Bye.